Okay, I want to talk about 4 pens that I've gotten that were in for me, the higher price range. Now, I consider anything that's 500-ish or more an expensive pen. Of course, my family considers anything over $3 an expensive pen. But these are pens that I saved for. I don't buy pens at this level with regularity anymore. But between the fact that a couple of them I thought were extraordinary and Fountain Pen Day, where there's some deals came in, these are 4 that I've gotten in the last 6 months that I wanted to share with you. The first one is a Scribo, and you know I love Scribos. I can't get enough of Scribo pens. I have about a dozen of them, and I want them all. I want all the Scribos. I have not met a Scribo nib that I didn't love. I mostly get the 14K nibs. I prefer the EF, though the Fs are great too. I've got a couple of mediums, but I've tried some of their 18K nibs, which are stiffer, and they're wonderful too. I just think Scribo's extraordinary. And the pen, they've got 3 basic models. The Feel, which is faceted, and the La Dota, right, which is like this. It's got a smooth barrel, and a smaller pen called the Puma. And this is called the Aquarelle. And these are basically hand-painted with, I think with an airbrush. Just gorgeous. Sadly, folks, I believe they're sold out. So if you think this is really cool and you find one for sale, grab it, because they're a bit hard to find now. And I just think they're exceptional. Now this section, you can see it's that blue galaxy material. So it's not got the same hand painting of the barrel and the cap, but just an absolutely wonderful pen. Very happy to have another Scribo in my collection. Then next, I love the Lamy 2000. Like a lot of people, I think it's one of the best pens ever made. It's got that macrolon, has a nice feel to it. It's a good size, not too big, not too small. Absolutely reliable writer, decent 14 karat nib, semi-hooded, really great pen. And when special editions have come out of I'm not a fan of black pens, right? So Lamy has introduced some special editions that have been in colors. There's a blue one out there from a few years ago that's really cool, and I don't know. Well, there is a standard edition stainless steel one that I don't have, and boy, I can't remember what the other one was. Was it gray? Brown. There's a brown one a few years ago, and then this year they released one in pine, and I had to have it, and got it from Stilograph Corsani, and in the video, it probably looks like a black pen to you, but it's not. It's clearly a green pen. It's got that same sort of, the macrolon has like these micro grooves on it, is what I'm going to call it. So it just feels great in the hand. It's got that kind of friction fit cap that fits really well. It just is a beautifully, beautifully designed pen, and I love it. Now, it does have a very stiff nib, but it for a fine, I think it only comes in fine actually. For a fine, it's just a nice wet writer, puts down just a beautiful, perfect line. So I'm really happy. I broke my only one pen every 2 months rule and got this, which I got at the same time as I got another very special pen. Now, as you know, I'm a big fan of Stilograph Corsani. I think that they're really high quality sellers, very fine pens. They know what they're selling. They can really help guide you to the pen that's just right for you. They get to know their customers and what their customers like. So I'm always happy to buy from Corsani. I buy from a lot of great vendors too, but Corsani is special to me. So when they come out with a special edition, I'm always interested. For one thing, the proprietor, Stefano, has his taste in pens is not too dissimilar from mine. He likes extra fine nibs, and I like fine to extra fine. I used to be very much a medium gal, but I've gone finer since I've realized I have really tiny writing and it looks better with finer nibs. And if I can find an extra fine that's still wet, I'm happy with it. But he also, when he has a special edition made, there are usually little touches that make it differ from standard editions that I appreciate. So Corsani is having their 100th anniversary, and they released a number of special editions this year to commemorate that 100th anniversary. And the one that I suspect is most dear to them is this pen. They released it in 4 iterations, and it's called the Memoir or Memoir. It's by Delta, and this barrel is of a celluloid material. The ends are resin. This is the mustard. They've got one in red. They've got one in black. There are 4 of them. Maybe there are 2 different iterations of the black one. I can't remember for sure. But they're Deltas, and I am not a Delta fan. I've never really been a Delta fan. So honestly, I hesitated a long time before I bought this. But loving Corsani as I do, I finally decided I just have to have one of them, and they are very interesting pens. The color choices are unusual, and yet it's a very, I think, sort of standard profile pen, very much like the Delta Dolce Vita, which was their flagship model for many years. Delta's been reinvented in the last 2 years. I don't know if they're new proprietors or what the thing is, but Delta died, and then now Delta's back, and this is the new Delta. The pen is just, it writes really well. I have a fine, and it's a little dry for me. I may work on that a little bit, but I want to let the nib be as it's come to me for a while before I try messing with it too much. But it's really got a beautiful nib, which again, you can't see very well in the video, but it's marked Corsani, 1922 to 2020. Sorry, 1924 to 2024. And it's got a nice sort of Greek key pattern around it. You're just gonna have to trust me because you can't really see it. So a very good pen at a pretty decent price point. Another thing that's hard to see because I've got it filled with ink is there are ink windows here, but they're on a slant, which is kind of curious. They're kind of at an oblique angle, which is kind of fun. And I am finding, particularly with piston fillers, I'm really happy to have ink windows on pens, especially if the ink window does not interrupt the flow of the pen body or the look of the pen. And in this case, the ink windows actually add to that. So great pen, great seller, really happy to have it. And then finally, it's another pen that I got from Corsani that's really a dream pen for me. Monto Graa. Monto Graa has had some absolutely gorgeous celluloids in its history, and their pens have tended to be more dear than makes me comfortable. Although in the past 5 or 6 years, I have gotten several very nice Monto Graa pens, mostly from Corsani, but I also have gotten a couple from Chatterley that I like very much. But I've never been able to get a pen at a price point that I really like in this fabulous turquoise material that Monto Graa has, and a turquoise celluloid. And you know, a few years ago, I had a chance to buy one from Chatterley, and you know, I just turned my attention a little bit and got a different color in the pen, and I've always regretted not getting the turquoise. Yeah, I do that sometimes. I'll like be all dreamy about a pen, and I'll find the perfect one, and then at the last second, I'll do something a little bit different, and then I always kind of regret it. Anyway, another of the models that Corsani put together to celebrate their centenary is this Monto Graa. It's modeled on the 1930, and it's just stunning. This celluloid's just stunning. One of the things that Corsani tends to do with their special editions is they have, not always, but almost always, they'll have a celluloid grip. And this pen is it's just fantastic. Beautiful, classy. Monto Graa nibs are wonderful. Now this, because all my other Monto Graas were either fine or extra fine, one nib was made by Sailor, and so the extra fine is really sort of an XX fine. Great nib, but I only use it on special occasions. This is I got a medium for something a little different, and I kind of wish I'd gotten a fine because the medium's just a little too wide for me, but it's still marvelous. Most pretty stiff, but just a slight bit of softness. Puts down a beautiful line. I mean, just everything about Monto Graa is classy and precise. There's the section on these pens is a little bit short, but it's nice and chunky. Beautiful pen. Really, really happy to have it. And of course, beautiful sterling silver appointments on the pen. So that's a little collection of 4 rather more expensive pens, all of which have found very happy places in my collection. So that's what's going on with me pen-wise. I have a couple of Leonardos on order that I'll be happy to show you when they come in. And I also have a couple of Scribos on order, so there might be more Scribo action. Yeah, and then I'm going to be quiet for a while again. Bye, everybody. Hey, I forgot to mention that both the Delta Memoir and the Lamy come in super special packaging. But I'm not a fan of unboxing videos. If you're interested in that, you can check out Corsani's YouTube page or any of the various reviews that are of the Lamy 2000 out there. I sort of like the unboxing to be a surprise, so that's just not something I'm gonna spend much video time on. All right, just wanted to mention that. But they are very special packaging for those 2 pens.